Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, good afternoon, everyone. Just after 6 p.m. last night, the Division of Police received a call to respond to the area of East 162nd and Midland. The callers stated they had found what appeared to be a body inside of a suitcase at this location. The officers responded out and located a deceased individual that was in a shallow grave inside of a suitcase. The officers immediately began their investigation as they canvassed the area for any potential evidence on scene. The officers located what appeared to be a second shallow grave, and they could tell that there was a second suitcase in that location. The officers at that time identified that there was a body inside of that second suitcase as well. The medical examiner's office responded out, and they took custody of the individuals and for their further investigation. So we completed our investigation on scene. The only updates we have at this time are that the individuals are 2 juvenile black females. The one individual is suspected to be anywhere between the ages of 8.5 to 13. The second is estimated to be of the age of 10.5 to 14. At this time, there are no clear indicators of the cause of death of the 2 young females. And we're asking if anyone has any information, saw anything suspicious in the area, that they are to contact the Cleveland Division of Police Homicide Unit at 216-623-5464. We will be operating that line 24 hours a day, so someone will be available to answer those calls. Or they can call Crime Stoppers at 216-252-7463. At this time, we don't know how long the juveniles had been at this location. It was some time, so it's not just something that was recent. The investigation is ongoing. We have to wait for results from the medical examiner, and from there, we should have an update once we have further information. So if you have any questions, we'll open it up.
Were the bodies dismembered?
No.
And approximately how big are these suitcases if you were to?
I am not going to give that information right now, so the only thing I do ask is if somebody saw something that was suspicious involving something that sounds familiar, I don't want to give certain information out that could tamper the investigation.
Were the 2 victims related?
No, we don't have any identification of either of the victims at this time.
Do you have any suspects?
No.
Are there missing persons, missing children that match the 2 girls that were found?
So it's a good question. We have checked our, locally, we have no reports of any missing children that match these identifications. We are checking statewide as well. We also have the assistance from our federal, state, and local partners. This is a priority. This is a traumatic event for our officers, for the community, and this is just such a tragic incident. But we are trying to develop any leads we can. That's why we're also asking for the community's help.
I know in last night's press release you said that the department said there's no ongoing threat to the public. What leads investigators to come to that conclusion?
When we say that, it's more we know that this didn't just happen. We still have to develop exactly when this happened, and we don't have any indication that there's a clear threat to safety.
Can you give any sort of update on the condition of the bodies that are found? I know you said it's been some time. This isn't something that just happened, but any sort of...
So right now, the only thing we could say, there's no clear indicators, so there's nothing that's visible enough to determine what the cause of death was.
We had heard, Chief, that perhaps these children were malnourished. Is that something that you heard as well?
I don't have a comment on that. I would defer to the medical examiner once their results come out.
Were the individuals clothed?
I will also defer to the medical examiner on that at this time.
Was there any identification inside the suitcase or a name on a shirt, like a kid's shirt, or anything that would lead you to...
Unfortunately, we have no indicators right now of the identity of the children involved.
Should we believe that they're local, or do we not know that
We
either?
can't even determine that at this time.
Can you kind of describe that neighborhood to us? Is there often foot traffic in that area where the bodies
Yeah,
are
so
found?
the caller in this incident was just a resident from the area who was walking their dog through the area. This is a field close to the school over there. This is just a residential neighborhood that I'm sure a lot of people do frequent. The weather has been, changing recently. The snow's been thawing, so it's really hard to determine the length of time at this point.
There are some businesses around there with cameras that appear to be pointing, I don't know how far they go, but have you been gathering some of that evidence?
Yeah, so our detectives have been out there actively walking the neighborhoods and gathering the information. The difficult part is that timeline, how far you have to look back, and a lot of cameras don't capture historical data, so we are currently still canvassing for that. So if someone has cameras and they want to, just do a cursory review to see if they have anything suspicious, please let us know and give us a call.
For
She-
anyone watching this story, and you want people to come forward who may have seen something suspicious, what are some things that, should set off an alarm and they should contact you about?
Anything that you see that's out of the ordinary. Did you see anyone spending a significant amount of time in that area? Someone who seems out of sorts to your neighborhood. Usually in residential areas, what's happening in your neighborhood. Something just seems a little bit off. That's why we're asking that anyone who has anything that they believe to be information directly related to or suspicious, that they give us a call.
Chief, we had heard that the FBI and perhaps U.S. Marshals were out searching yesterday. Does that search have anything to do with these missing individuals?
No, that's not connected.
Thank you.
Are you working with any other agencies in this? Maybe the FBI, maybe, National Center for Missing Exploited Children, anything like that?
We are working with all of our federal, state, and local partners. From Department of Children and Family Services to CMSD to the FBI, this is a priority investigation.
As far as your knowledge, have you had any other cases here locally similar to this where children were found in suitcases or missing peoples or anything like this before?
Not that I'm aware of. No.
Chief, can you describe, when it involves children, I mean, it takes this crime to another level.
It does.
Can you talk about that?
So when you look at that, you have an individual who's a resident who locates the trauma that happens right there, and at the end of the day, our officers are just regular people, and their parents, and it's something that a lot of officers never have to experience. We hope they would never have to experience, and it's traumatic for everyone, and it's traumatic just for those who live in the area to know that this was right there outside their doorstep.
Should people be on heightened alert in and around this area?
I think all residents should always be cautious to the ongoings of their neighborhoods, just, keeping alert for anything that is suspicious and always reporting it. We can't do police work alone. It takes the community to be a part of that, to call us, to let us know if something in their neighborhood is suspicious that needs, something for us to take a further look at.
Have you been in contact with, CMSD, any local schools, things like that, working with their
We're
principals?
working with everybody. Yeah.
Can I ask, I know you say you don't want to give away too many details, but the brand of suitcase perhaps?
Yeah,
would that be a
I
way as an
appreciate the
indicator?
question, but because of the integrity of the investigation, I just can't give those specifics at this time. And as soon as we develop more leads or we have additional information, we will keep you updated. As soon as, the coroner's office has more for us, we will keep you updated on that information. We just want to, the most important thing is misinformation gets out there quickly, and we want to clarify exactly what we know at this time. The delay in, us giving the update is because it's a sensitive investigation, and there wasn't a lot to go on at this point, so we want to give you as much factual information that we have as soon as we could.
Are there any solid leads right now?
No.
Can I ask, and you may not be able to give it, but can you classify how badly decomposed these bodies were? Was it a great amount? Obviously, that's going to impact the investigation if that's the case.
Well, I'm going to leave it to the coroner's determination because they take custody of the bodies, and, they're doing their review right now, so they will probably provide that update when they're complete.
So Chief, what is your next steps?
As far as?
Like, where do you go from here? What will you do shortly after this news conference?
So I can tell you that, one, we're establishing a 24-hour response line. Our investigators, you know, not just on this investigation, but on many, they spend countless days, nights, hours, whatever it takes, sleepless nights on this investigation. We are working with all of our partners. We are we're canvassing, we're talking to people, and the best thing is to find answers. You know, it's just terrible, horrific situation.
Do you have any idea how long it'll take the medical examiner's office to get back?
We don't, I don't want to talk about their
Okay.
timelines, but hopefully we'll have something soon.
When do you anticipate the next update?
As soon as we have something more. We want to make sure that we keep the community updated, but I'm giving you what we have right now. So as soon as we have something further, but again, I encourage anyone, if they saw anything suspicious, if they know anything related to, you know, kids that are missing, that they please call us. And, you know, that's the most important thing, 216-623-5464. Someone will be responding to that line 24 hours. We all set?
Anything else you may want to add, we may have missed or you want to emphasize?
No, I just, you know, the biggest thing is, you know, getting the accurate information out as quickly as we can. That's the most important thing, is making sure that, you know, to honor these young people, making sure the right story is out there. So thank you very much.
Thank you.